Hey everyone, Henry from BigCastBearings.com. I got a customer that dropped off a Tatula Elite. This particular model is a 6.3 to 1. Today we're going to be removing the two bearings that hold on the spool, get a little more better casting distance for him, a little smoother crank on that way back, and hopefully make a difference when he's all fishing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the thumb screw right here. I usually use a quarter. Got one kicking around. Just back that off. Once you get backed off, now I just unscrew it. It should pop up like so. We're going to take the side panel, just going to push it downwards, and just wiggle that off, and that should come off like so. There's your first bearing right there. We're going to replace. We're going to leave that for last. I like to leave the easy stuff for last first, and tackle the little more intricate parts there first. So it's a little retainer clip. I'll worry about that after. Put that down. Next, we're going to do, we're going to remove the spool. So the spool just comes off like so. You can see I went ahead and just kind of cinched the line in there, so it's just a little easier for us to spin it after and make sure everything's in working order. And as you can see, I can put everything in order here. It just makes my life a little easier when I'm putting things back together. Alright, next thing we're going to tackle is the side plate here. So we have a little screw right there that holds on this little retainer. I got a little flathead right there. We're going to put in there, we're going to remove this, like so. Yeah. There we go. Put that right next to the spool. And then we're going to take out their little nut retainer, like so. I like to put the nut retainer over my screw, like that, so we know where it is. And next thing we're going to do, we're going to remove this nut here. And that does require a 10mm socket. I just have a socket here. Everything's in reverse thread, so just make sure that you're in your lefty tighty, righty loosey. It's the opposite of what I just said there. So we're just going to torque it, and just so it's off a little bit. Now there's a spring that holds all these components together. So what I like to do is take my index and my middle finger, hold down my handle, undo the nut, reverse order, take that nut, put it down right beside. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to hold the top like so with my other finger. I'm going to hold the drag handle down, take the handle off. There is another washer right here. That usually sticks on there. That'll work great. Just leave it like side. And next we're going to do, we're going to take the drag star off like so. If you notice everything I take off, I just lay it right down, just like that. Next we have the spring and the drag system there. So we're going to remove the spring, set that right beside the drag star, and we're just going to start backing off the screw. Now this screw is again reverse thread, so it's going to spin it backwards. You're just going to keep spinning. Your hands will get kind of greasy at this point. That's okay. And we also have the clicker that we're going to pull up as well too. And I just like to hold on to the shaft with my finger while I'm spinning off the drag system. And this whole drag system can come off at once, one time, no big deal, just like so. And that comes off, goes right down beside the spring. Now there's another washer on here. That washer just protects the little bearing right there. Remove that washer as well. And we're going to put that right beside the drag system. Perfect. Alright, so now we have 3 screws on here. There's going to be all flatheads. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to remove all 3. There's all 3 screws removed there for you. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to remove the side plate as one unit. Best thing to do is kind of wiggle it back and forth until you break that seal. Once you break the seal, leave it vertical, and you slowly pull that off there for you. Now, one thing to be careful, these springs right here, you see here, they're just set on there by a little shaft. They will pop off if you're not careful. So I usually leave the body just like so. Leave that facing up. Keep that aside. Now, one thing you notice is that I do put my finger over this. This is bearing for the crank there. We're going to flip to the back side, and there's the bearing that we're going to replace. That actually where the spool sits on, and it just rides on like so. So you can kind of see how fast that spins with the stock bearings on there. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to change our screwdriver head out. We had a little thicker one. Right now we're going to go to the smaller one, the smallest one you guys have in your little toolkit. And there's my smallest one right there. Put that on. You know, these little spring clips, they're very jumpy, so I usually just try to find where the ends are. If you notice, the ends are located right here and here, and here. So I like to do is put my thumb over it, find where the gap is right there, and just pop that out. So thumb over it. Just gonna hear a little click. You can see it's popped out there. Release the tension. We can move out of the way. Put that in the safe spot. Now this bearing here, you should be able to go in and just pry it out, and it should come off like so. And there's your 3x4 bearing. Yeah, the stock bearing, it's okay, does a job, but this customer is opting for our Premier series of bearings, so that's what we're going to put back into the FX 9s. So you can see very little spin on this bearing here, if not any. So we're going to grab a new bearing from our kit, like so. Our bearings do come with a dust shield on them. You can leave them on if you wanted to, more for salt water and whatnot, but for application up in Canada, not really needed. So just grab a little treble hook. You're just going to go between the shaft of the bearing and the bearing itself, and we're just going to pop that little orange seal out. We don't need that seal anymore, so you can discard those. We're going to do the same on both sides here. You can use a little screwdriver if you want to. I've just been using a little treble hook, makes my life a little easy. And there's your bearing right there. Brand new bearing. So you can see all the bearings do come tested before we ship them out to customers as well too. I'll give that a good spin. And I'm just going to hold it to see how long it's going to spin for. Not bad. All right. So we're going to take that bearing, and we're going to take our body. We're just going to put it on the side like so. We're just going to slide it into place. And just push it down with your fingers, get enough there. We're going to take the little retaining clip, put it down like so, and we're just going to slide it in. And where it slides in, this is going to slide back into the groove right in the corners right there. And we're going to push it in. So you move your finger down into the area where it slides down like so. And I'm just going to move my finger across. I'm putting pressure on it, and that should just snap in place there for you. Now you can see it's almost right in there, so I was going to push that down. Pop back out. Let's see if we can get it here. Shot. Almost. So my screwdriver held a bit. And just like that, it popped out. Just give me a sec here.
A few moments later.
Yes, so definitely be careful with this little spring. It is a little jumpy little spring. You always want to put pressure over it, but put your hand over it as you're doing it just to cover it, just in case it does pop back. I'm just going to try again here so I can get it back seated here. It's a little bit of a pain, but worth the effort. All right, there we go. There we go. So I think I got it in there. So you can see it nicely on the inside there. Perfect. That's all good. You can see we put, just put the spool on, just spin that real quick. Look at that. Great. All right. Anyways, we're just going to continue on here. So once you have the spring on there, you can see this part moved out. We're just going to push it back in, like so. And next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take the body, make sure those two springs are back in its place. We're gonna turn it, kind of line everything up, put it back on again. And you can see this bearing shaft just came out, and the other bearing just came out, not a big deal. Just want to make sure this is seated properly like so. We're gonna push this sleeve back down so it's seated back in there. We're going to take this bearing and we're going to put that over it. Again, we do sell a full kit. This particular customer just wanted the supposed to be the bearing shaft done, which is not a big deal. The most important thing here, when you do put this bearing back in, make sure it is seated as much as possible. You don't want to be it sticking out. Again, just like so. You can see how it's seated right there. That's perfect. And we're just going to put the 3 screws back in. I don't like to tighten it down completely. I just like to get them in nice and snug just for now, then we can go back and tighten everything up afterwards. It's kind of my routine. Alright, now we're going to install everything from reverse order. First thing we have is we have a little washer right here that protects the bearing. That goes over like so. Like that. Then we have the drag kit right here. Again, I hold it all in one go. There are some washers in there too. Whatnot. So you just want to get those on and only go in one way. Kind of wiggle all these little washers down on top. Again, this washer here goes on reverse, so nice and easy. If you feel binding, don't force it. It does take a little bit of time to get it right. And it should go in that smooth. Shouldn't be having to crank it. Why not? It should go nice and smooth. Now there is a 2-tier cut on the shaft here. Depending on the manufacturer, sometimes not cut perfectly. You do have to kind of force it a bit sometimes to get it over that groove. You see this one here, take a little bit of effort to get over, groove a little bit. Let's see here if we can get it. There we go. Yeah, that take a lot of effort to get it over that groove. As long as it goes in smooth here, first couple threads here, and you do hit an encounter where it does snag up there, you can get a little more effort to crank it on. Just the way these are machine cut. That's where you might run into. Alright, so we're just going to spin that so just as tight enough for your hand. Like so. We're going to take the spring, which is the next in line, that sits in this little groove right here. So that spring goes on like so. We're going to take your start drag goes on top. Again, we're going to push this down so it seats. There you go. So it just clicks in like that. And this is also spring loaded, so I do take my index, my middle finger, and I hold it down like that. And let's see if we can do this here. So we're going to hold the drag star down, then we're going to take your handle, and we're just going to line the handle up to that, both sides, down like so. Yeah, that will sit like on top of the drag star. We're going to take your nut, again, everything's reverse thread, and we're just going to screw this back on. This nut's very easy to cross thread, so just take your time. Nice light pressure, should go on nice and smooth, very effortlessly. And there we go. While it's on there, we're going to put our hand just on the back side of the reel, and we're going to tighten this down just enough. You don't need too much. We're going to take your nut keeper, pull that out. It should just line up against that hole. Drop a little screw in there. That. We're going to take our screwdriver and we're going to put that in place. Thanks for your patience here, buddy. There we go, nice and tight. That's good. Now I'm going to go around and tighten the rest of my body down here. Just make sure everything's nice and tight. some more. Just make sure everything's nice and even. Alright, here we go. That's the first part done. You notice already running pretty smooth. Alright, next thing we're going to do, we're going to tackle the side panel here on this side. Pretty straightforward, a little bigger of a spring to work with, a little bit bigger to work with. So again, nice to leave the easier stuff to last. We're going to take our screwdriver and we're just going to stick it into the little gap right there. And we're just going to pop it out and put my finger over it so it doesn't go flying like the last one I had. And let's just switch up the screwdriver here. Make my life a little easier. So there we go, just pop it aside. Release the tension with your thumb. Take off that spring retainer. And we're just going to pry this out. Now you can tap this out if you want to. There's a couple pieces of padding on the underside of the screw bearing. You don't want to lose those because it's cause you a little more headaches. So I'm just going to go over and just tap it. So pull this bearing out here. Oh, we're almost there. Come on. There we go. Got it. So if you notice on the inside here, there is a little bit of padding where that shaft rides on. You don't want to lose that. That does come out sometimes as well too. So if you're going to bang it out, just be careful. You got to put that back in. All right. So there's our side plate bearing. Let's have a look how this guy spins. See, not that great. Yeah, stock bearings, nothing wrong with them. Just be nice to pay what you get for it. All right, let's put that bearing aside. Let's grab one of our 3x10x4s. Here. Yeah, we're gonna remove that orange seal that's on these bearings like so. And right here, remove that one on the other side there, pretty easy. Just like so. Let's see how this one spins. Not bad. Not bad at all. There we go. Alright, so let's take this bearing. We're just going to pop it in here. It doesn't matter which side it goes up, it's fine. Push it down your finger, she's in there. Take a retaining clip and you like to slide one side of it in. So it's kind of half in, like so. And then you just kind of push down and move your finger across. It should just slide right into its place there. There we go. See how it's almost in there? I want to jump out. I'm just going to push that corner right in. There we go. Look on all sides of it. It looks like it's seated nicely in there. All right, let's take your reel. Last thing we're going to do is put your spool back in. So, the side plate goes back on again. And up. So it slides in. We're just going to turn the little thumb screw. Call it thumb screw for a reason. Alright, as far as we're going to go. Grab a quarter. Get it in there. Just turn it so it's tight. There we go. I'm just going to reset everything here. So let's go back down to 0 on this guy. Play it on the spool. What I like to do is back off micro drag here. See how it's got a lot of play. Just going to keep tightening it until that play is just gone. There we go. All right, magical touch. Let's see what happens. Not bad. It's a lot better than stock bearings. Do a free spool here so I can get it going. Not bad at all. You should definitely increase your casting distance. The biggest thing you're going to notice with these is definitely how smooth they are. What that really relates to is when you're fishing finesse baits or just reeling in a bait in general all day long, you're fishing a tournament or just out there a weekend warrior, it makes a really big difference when you're out there reeling these big baits in or even small baits. You can definitely feel the difference between the stock bearing and the bait cast bearings that we put in these. So, like, subscribe. Hope you like the video. If any comments, please let me know down below. We're happy to help you out. Check our website as well, and see you in the next video.